Hello, everybody. My name is Jay Berman. Welcome to the New York Giants Squad Show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Giants feeling blue once again. What else is new for this bunch? Not much.
I'm Mark Collins, two-time Super Bowl champion. Hey, listen, the Patriots could have about 50 points in the first half.
I'm Brandon Olson, and I may never witness a Giants win again.
Let's go, Big Blue. It's the New York Giants Squad. Everything New York Giants every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the G-Men. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. The Giants Squad Show starts now.
All right, your favorite trio is back, and once again, it's after a road loss for the New York Giants. Before we start, let's tell you that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your very first purchase. It's Mark, it's Brandon, it's Jay, and we're live with you after yet another pathetic performance from the Giants. Mark, how many more of these are we going to see?
Oh, we have 4 games left?
Four.
4.
Right. I mean, it is a lot of the same things that get repeated was the case tonight. Just a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, from what I saw, I mean, was it to be expected? Yes. But New England came out very physical. They were laying it. And, we talk about, in our shows, people take, trap games and stuff like that. New England took that stuff away immediately the first 2 or 3 drives. And even on defense and special teams, they took the Giants completely out of the game. And I think the Giants, some of those players, were on the brink of quitting.
I don't know what else to say to that other than I think you're right. And, it's one thing for Jay Berman or Brandon Olson to suggest that a player quits. It's quite another when Mark Collins, 2-time Super Bowl champ, suggests that could be the case, Brandon. So, again, we're in these same waters that are just so tiring.
Yeah, it's super fun to be a Giants fan right now. It's a blast to watch the game, and also like getting to watch the game. And then every time Jaxson Dart does anything, we got to go, oh, great, he's taking another shot that he probably doesn't need to take. I will say I feel bad for guys like Theo Johnson, who, after Jaxson Dart puts himself in position to just get cracked on the sideline while he's still inbounds. Now Theo has to go push people and start a fight just because Jaxson Dart didn't want to get out of bounds in time or slide. And so I feel bad for things like that, but I respect, defending your quarterback. But Mark, you're absolutely right about, some of these guys are ready to quit. That was honestly one of my biggest issues with the entire Brian Daboll era, that it felt like there were a lot of times where they got punched in the mouth and they just never knew how to react to it. And again, like we spoke about this a couple months ago at this point, where it was 2 seasons ago, and week 1, they're getting blown out by the Cowboys and the whole team just gave up right there. And I think that was a very common trend of this Daboll era. I'm hoping that you get someone that is a lot more physical and a lot more intense at the helm, because the rate at which we've seen some players give up on this team is nothing short of embarrassing. Look, you're getting paid millions of dollars, generational money to play football. I expect you to go all out. And I don't think that's being unreasonable either. I think that's, I expect you to go all out. We didn't see that happen consistently enough. We haven't seen that happen consistently enough. And this team, you can't be bad and weak. You got to be able to, like, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough, right? Yeah. And they're just neither right now.
Yeah, the fact that we're starting off the show, Mark, talking about certain guys not playing their hardest, we're on to week 13 now, week 14. It's amazing. We still have guys that aren't into it 100%. I mean, it tells you all you need to know about the organization, Mark.
Well, yeah, because the culture, whether it's Daboll, now it's Kafka, the culture is still there. That's why I'm saying you gotta make a clean sweep of everybody. You gotta start over. And the reason I say that is you've seen what Sean Payton has done in Denver, okay? And you got the up close view of Mike Vrabel comes in, cleans house, and look what he's turned that organization around, that team around, changed the culture. Not only got these guys to believe they could win, but they know they could win, and they took on the culture of their coach. Right now, last week I said the Colts were the most complete team. What I saying tonight, New England, that's a very solid damn team. I mean, special teams, offense, physical defense, and great play calling on both sides, offense and defense. It's crazy, man. They look damn good.
There's a lot of, I don't know if irony is the right word, just interest, I guess, in the fact that the Giants wanted May and the Giants wanted Vrabel, and the Pats got both of them. And look at them now. It just goes to show how important the coach can be, Brandon. And I'd love to have Vrabel on the sidelines.
Yeah. I don't know how to phrase this any other way, so I'm going to phrase it as politely as I can. Dude's a badass. Like it's just as simple as that. And like when you have a guy at the helm that's just a badass, your team's going to be physical. They're going to be ready to go. And I think that's really important when you talk about just being able to beat down teams that are mentally weaker than you. You put them behind the eight ball a little bit, you keep it going, and they don't know how to react. And I know I saw people complaining. I'm in group chats for my fantasy league is complaining about why the Patriots are going for it on 4th and 6 from the 36-yard line and instead of punting or kicking a field goal. And it's like, probably just because they can. Like, I don't even know if that was an analytics call. I don't know what the analytics say on it, but I know that there are some coaches, Mike Vrabel included, who will go for it just because he feels like he can do it to you. And honestly, I respect it. I do. If you can really put your foot on someone's throat and end it, do that. And Vrabel is going to try to do that. Whether it works or not, he's going to try to do that. And I think that we're approaching a time in the NFL now where teams are starting to lean more on the power run, and they're getting kind of back into a little bit of the old school game. And we just finished an era where everybody was about finesse and it was about throwing the football. Chicks love the deep ball is what you could talk about and all that. And you can have a lot of fun doing it. But now we're at hey, we're back to punch people in the mouth time. And if you don't have a coach that can match up, you're screwed.
When you have a coach that knows how to finish a game, start and finish a game, when you have a team that you're supposed to beat, you will want to. You saw it tonight, and Vrabel did it. Brandon, you called it. They go for it on 4th down. You know why he went for it on 4th down? Not just because he can, because he has a team to do it. If he doesn't make it, that defense will back him up. If they got to, punt the ball or get a big return, they got a special teams guy who could do it. He has a complete team. So he throws the analytics stuff out. And he goes in and does what he has to do because that team is very, very solid. They're well coached. They don't get tricked on a lot of stuff. They're very physical on defense. And when you have a team like that, all you do is, it's 4th and 6. Yeah, let's go for it. You know why he did it? Again, because he wanted to squash any belief that the Giants had of coming back.
It's funny. We talked about speed, physicality. It looks like, especially on defense, the Patriots have a ton of those guys, and they were fast, and they get right up to the line with borderline right or wrong kind of hits. And that's a direct reflection. It has to be of the coach, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're going to hit you. If they want to throw a flag, throw a flag. But if they're not throwing flags, then all they're doing is hitting you. That's it. It's really as simple as that. Like, I know that, the Jaxson Dart hit on the sideline, that was he was kind of going out, but kind of not. Think about it from the defender's perspective, which, Mark, I'm sure you can also think about. If that QB kind of looks like he's going out and I pull up and he decides to keep going forward,
Yeah,
and there's an even bigger gain.
Yeah.
Who's getting torn up for that one?
Oh, the defense.
Yeah. It's going to be me if I pull up because I think he's going out of bounds, and then he picks up extra yards. We saw this years ago in college with Kenny Pickett. He faked the slide. Defender pulled up completely. He has a 60-something yard rushing touchdown, and everyone went, well, I mean, if you're going to fake a slide, I'm going to start hitting you when you actually slide. If you're going to fake going out of bounds, I'm going to hit you. Hit him. As a quarterback, protect yourself. Get out of bounds, slide. Make it very clear. And that's also the thing, too. Jaxson Dart, the approach that he was taking toward the sideline was very gradual. He was like inching towards the sideline. You're not going to get that call. You got to clearly be going out of bounds if you're going to get that call. All that looked like was that Jaxson Dart was going to the sideline, going to eventually go out of bounds. You're going to take that hit. And frankly, like, I know people can complain about it. People can call it dirty. People can call it whatever they want to call it. Fact is, did they throw a flag for the hit? No. Then so what? Then you hit their quarterback if he puts you in that situation. Like if you're hitting people and there's no flags being thrown and people want to go dirty hit, that's just you being soft there. Like it hits your hits. It's football. I know that not everybody wants to take those hits and not everybody wants to see your quarterback take those hits. But this is football. They didn't throw a flag on it. As far as I'm concerned, then it's in the rules.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a penalty. I do have a problem with all the head-to-head, the helmet-to-helmet hits, which several of them, Mark, were not called. Now, the one, was it, I believe, Theo Johnson down the right side? Regardless. Anyways, the fact that not every helmet-to-helmet hit is called worries me. That's what I think they need to get out of the game, Mark.
Yeah, but there's no set rule on when it is. If a player is sliding, if he's running the ball and trying to duck, I don't know, because if I'm a defensive player and I'm coming in to make a tackle and the back or receiver lowers his head, well, I can't change the trajectory of how I'm going to hit you. That's just how it is. But that one on what's the returner, Ozlowski?
Gunnar Olszewski.
Oh man, that could have been called.
Should have been called.
It wasn't. And that was a brutal hit. That was. You see the giant sticker, the NY sticker.
Paint.
Oh man, that was brutal. So, but let me back up a little bit. Some of the officiating, not just the helmet-to-helmet hits, some of the pass interferences and all that crap. It's been like a roller coaster. It's been up and down, very bad at times. Most of the times, tonight some of those calls should have been called. The helmet-to-helmet hits, and they were vicious. But once again, you got a coach that he's not coaching that, he's not teaching that. I'm not saying that, but they're physical. They're going full speed, and if the ref's not going to call it, they're going to keep doing it. So it's in the confines of the rules of the game. These players are not playing dirty. Hard football, that's what it's all about. If Jaxson Dart can't protect himself, okay, that's on you. Everything else is free game.
Was I hearing their rules expert? I don't know who it is. I don't think it's a former ref, but that rules expert on every helmet-to-helmet hit kept saying, well, he's a runner now. The point is that helmet-to-helmet, regardless of the position you play or where you are on the field, should be outlawed, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, you're gonna preach safety and specifically with brain injuries and head injuries, you're gonna preach it, then protect it.
Yeah.
Because that's also part of the game is you want defenders to hit that lower box, right? You want them to drop that target window. The way to drop that target window is to say, hey, that top window that you have, like that window's shut now. You got to bring it lower. And so if you're going to preach safety, and if you're going to preach protecting players, and if you're going to preach specifically head injuries and head safety, then you got to start calling the head-to-head, the helmet-to-helmet hits. Like if you want them to lower the hit box, then you need to make them lower the hit box. Like people aren't going to just all of a sudden go, oh, I need to change how I'm doing things because they want me to change how I'm doing things. You need to go, I need to change how I'm doing things because I can't do things the way I've been doing. And if they're not going to make you do that, they're not going to respect it.
Yeah, time to legislate it out. I don't ever understand with a rules expert or a former ref saying when there's a clear helmet to helmet hit that, oh, well, he's a runner. I mean, that just makes no sense to me. A helmet to helmet hit anywhere on the field amongst any position should be called. And
Well, they don't because they're that's what I'm saying. It's not really regulated. They're all going to be runners, right?
Right.
So if it's a quarterback, the quarterback usually always gets the call because they're going to protect the quarterback. Nobody wants to see a backup quarterback running a Fortune $500 million team. They're not going to do it. So they're going to protect the quarterback. But they got to do something as far as regulating what is a helmet to helmet hit, not just who it's on. It should cover everybody. Everybody's going to be a runner. So, we'll see what happens next year when the rule changes, and they're going to change the rules.
No doubt. All right, we'll take our first break of the night. We'll do Dart and May next, and obviously Abdul Carter's interesting night. What else is new? We'll do all of it next. All right, we will start with Prize Picks. The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994, and with 48 teams for the first time ever, it's going to be massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part. That's why the Game Time app is clutch. All right. We will also tell you that finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. Pick a game, tap a section, and have your tickets locked in within minutes. No confusion, no hunting for fine print. Alerts for teams and matches make it easy to grab tickets the moment they drop instead of missing out. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go Game Time. All right, so we're back, and obviously we know where these quarterbacks stand. 2 years ago, it was Drake May, the pick the Giants supposedly wanted. They didn't get him. Smart move by the Patriots. But obviously the Giants landed with Jaxson Dart. That being said, I'm curious, Mark, who would you rather have, Vrabel and May or Dart and whoever the Giants hire to be head coach?
Well, hindsight being 2020, of course you want what the Patriots have right now, but that's not the case. I always say players are exactly where they need to be. Now, if the Giants would have taken Drake May, last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, and Dave was there's no guarantee that's the May you're going to see with the Giants, right? It's not going to happen. So we are where we are. So now I can only hope that the Giants get a coach, hopefully a coach that is established already, who knows how to win, has a winning pedigree. I don't want these offensive gurus anymore. I want a hard-nosed coach who's coached before, who's won championships, who can take a young quarterback like Vrabel did. I keep bringing back Sean Payton, what he's doing with Bo Nix, somebody like that to take over this organization and completely change the culture and make them a viable, competitive football team. So, yeah, if the results, if I was clairvoyant to see if the Patriots would be like the Giants now, yeah, I would take Vrabel and May, but we don't have it, so you just got to hope and pray whoever the Giants pick as a coach.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw a stat tonight and I wrote it down so that we could dissect it. He leads quarterbacks in yards. That they talked about on the broadcast, but he has not had a 300-yard passing game. But every game he's played has been over 200 yards passing. So he's been super consistent, Brandon.
Yeah. He's a hooper. There's just no other way to describe. Also both of these quarterbacks. What you got to see was just two young quarterbacks that are incredibly promising. And I know that Drake May, he was personally my quarterback one in the 2024 draft. So was a huge fan of his film coming out of North Carolina. All the tools you're looking for from a quarterback to be the franchise guy, he's becoming that, right? We'll see what he is next year. I hate the whole well, he had a really awesome first 11 games of 2025, so let's just crown him as the king now. He's balling out. Jaxson Dart looks really good. Both of these guys are just what you got to see was two incredible young quarterbacks. One of them just happens to be on a really good football team, and one isn't. That's the main difference there. But it was fun to see. It was awesome to watch. And yeah, Drake May, he gets it done. The touchdown to, I think it was Kyle Williams, just a beautiful ball.
Amazing.
Beautiful ball. I mean, that's the kind of arm talent that you go, all right, that's why we draft him that early. I have no doubt that Jaxson Dart will be really good. I think right now most people would probably take the Patriots setup because you have a head coach. Right. First off, and you've got a quarterback that's a bit more established where you could say, all right, there's a larger sample size of success there. But honestly, I think as far as purely talking about quarterback, both these franchises are in really good hands right now.
They talked about it at length on the broadcast about how they hit almost every they spent a lot of money, but they hit on almost every free agent. And they finally, which something they haven't done in a while, draft well. They got the coach, the quarterback, they put it all together. Maybe it's not so impossible that the Giants can follow that footprint next year or the year after, Mark.
Yeah, but the Patriots had 200-some million under the salary cap, so they had that money to spend that. So, and they spent all of it, and they spent it well, and they hit on the drafts, they hit on all the free agents, and they're 11-3 now, 11-2, whatever it is.
11-2, yeah.
So they're looking good. So yeah, it's perfect, and they got the quarterback. Got a great OC, very good defensive coordinator. They look solid. They look like they're built for a run, 5-10 years or whatever. And the Giants don't. So we'll just see what happens next year, who the Giants gives a head coach and possibly general manager. I don't know the salary cap structure now, but I'll say this. A lot of those players on the Giants roster right now probably won't be there. They probably won't. So. But the Patriots, they hit it perfectly, built for a good run, good stretch, and the Giants got to figure it out.
I can't believe we have to do this because it's annoying and it's stale and it's tiring, but we have to. Brandon, when is one, Jaxson going to learn? And two, if they haven't done it already, teach him how to slide or at least throw it away, because the types of hits he took there tonight were the types of hits he's been taking really since he started playing, and you just can't avoid all of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, and not to be, a D-bag about this, but I do think that there's certain guys where it's just like, they're dogs, right? I think everybody watches Jaxson Dart and you watch him play and you go, that dude's a dog, right? Like you just know that you have that. He's similar to how I'm like, yeah, Mike Vrabel's a badass. Jaxson Dart's a badass. He's gonna have his little TikTok celebrations when he scores a touchdown, but he's gonna be a dog up and down that field and he's gonna get there. And so I don't really expect him to start taking care of himself. I just don't. I wish he would, but history tells me that quarterbacks and players in general have certain traits that it's not common that they change. Like quarterbacks who have been playing a certain way. And Jaxson Dart's played a lot of football. He's a rookie, but he's played a lot of football through college. He was a young player that played a ton throughout his entire college career, went to the NFL, came playing as a rookie. Like he's played a lot of football and this is something that he does. I don't think that's changing. It's like when you talk about DBs that are really bad at getting their head, like Deonte Banks, right? Bad at getting his head around, bad at making a play on the ball. That's stuff that usually doesn't change. And especially when you've got plenty of film out there, when you've got plenty of experience, that stuff, I really do wish that Jaxson Dart would change it. But I don't know. He said, what, 2 days ago in media availability? Yeah, I got to take better care of myself. And he took maybe the biggest hit I've seen him take on the sideline there.
That was a hit.
Yeah, like they hit stick. They whooped his ass on that one. Like they took him out. And it's like, yeah, if you're not going to put yourself in good position and you're not going to protect yourself, despite the hits, despite being sent to the medical tent multiple times. And I know that someone mentioned concussions to him in media availability, and he was like, oh, well, actually only one of those was for a concussion. And it's like, you're still getting your ass kicked game in, game out. Like, you're still going to get checked. I don't care if it's specifically for concussions or anything. You're still going through that. And so when I look at Jaxson Dart, I really do hope he changes. But I don't know. If you're a dog, you're a competitor, I get it. But he seems like he's not interested in protecting himself right now.
Yeah. The wrong response, that was the only one for a concussion. No, but here's the deal. When you come from college, and I don't care what school you come from, whether SEC or Mountain West, one thing you learn real quick, everybody on that football field in the NFL, they're faster. They're 2 or 3 steps, 4 steps faster than college. So in the SEC, where he can outrun the defensive end or defensive tackle, not the NFL. They're going to get you. So at some point, that's got to register. He's got to know, you know what, I'm fast, but that guy's fast too, and that guy can hit me harder than anybody in the SEC or whatever conference you're in. So can he learn? I'm going to say yes. It may take him, it's bad to say, another concussion for him to find out. Maybe tonight, when he thought he was protecting himself, going out of bounds gingerly at that angle, and still got whacked. Hopefully he knows, you know what, I better get my ass out of bounds. Because if I got a toenail inbounds, somebody's going to light me up. So he's going to learn that. I just hope it happens sooner than later.
Twitter was angry that Jaxson Dart was still in the game. It's funny because of all these things I got to get angry about, be it the special teams, the coaching, the tackling, well, all this stuff. And that's where we are now. It's Brandon, it's silly and it's tiring.
Yeah, it's really exhausting. But I do feel like every Giants game is a rinse repeat. There's two versions of the Giants game in 2025, right? They either come out there, they look really strong at the start, and they make you kind of buy in a little bit. You're like, oh, they might be doing something this time, and then they pull the rug right out from under your feet. Yeah. They blow a double-digit lead and lose the game. Or the way more fun alternative is that they walk out there and they just get. I don't know if you guys saw before, but I brought the belt out. I brought the belt out because it's still warm. It's still warm from just the spanking that they got. And that's all that happens, right? They either come out there, look really strong, and then blow it, or they come out there and they get their ass whooped up and down the field all game. It's super fun to watch. Honestly, I do question some of the guys who are just like, have a little bit of pride, right? Like, you don't want. I know I'm 5'11", 170. I probably shouldn't be telling these people, have a little bit of pride, but come on, line it up, go out there. Instead, they seem pretty content with just getting their asses kicked. Yeah. And I hate to see it, but it gets old, right? Like so much of what we've talked about gets old. And unfortunately, this is just the reality where, like there's going to be complaints about everything. Jaxson Dart, I mean, I don't know. I think that it's important for him to get reps. I really do wish that someone would pull him aside and be like, hey, do you like playing football? Like, do you want to continue doing it? The average NFL career is under 4 years, and you're tracking really well with the number of hits you're taking. And I do wish that someone would just get it through his skull. Hey, you got to protect yourself a little bit. Otherwise, you're not going to be long for this league.
Part of me thinks Abdul Carter doesn't want to play football either. We will get to him coming up next as we take our second break of the night. We'll do Abdul next. All right, let's tell you about Prize Picks. The episode that you're watching is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season, whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates. That includes California, Texas, and Georgia. I've been using Prize Picks during both football Sundays and NBA tip-offs. It keeps every game exciting. I like picking my players, like Mahomes and Steph Curry. They're my favorites, to see how my predictions play out. The new Stacks feature is a game changer as well. You can now pick more on Steph's points, threes, and assists in the same lineup. Plus, if one of your players leaves early with an injury, the injury reboot saves my lineup from a loss. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL. $50 in lineup, $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, so once again, Abdul Carter, I guess, took liberties with meetings. Not exactly sure what went down. Mike Kafka was asked. He said, coach's decision. Duh, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Mark, this is not the first time, and something makes me think it's happened a lot more than we know.
Yeah, because we spoke about that last week, and I
did.
I didn't know much about it. I thought it was a one-time deal, but something has gone awry. So, gotta wait to see what comes out. Talk to Patricia tomorrow, later in the week. She'll fill us in on what happened. But yeah, that's an ugly pattern that's going on, and he should know better. And somebody in that locker room who's a leader, maybe one of the quarterbacks, somebody, to grab him by his shirt and say, "What the hell are you doing?" But then too, I don't know how he did during the pre-draft meetings, all this stuff. I'm sure that if this is happening now on the pro level, it probably happens somewhere at Penn State. And that stuff usually comes out, before you draft the player, and this stuff manifests to this. So we'll find all this out later. But yeah, and he was on the sideline with his coat, like, I don't care. I don't care. But when he came in, he made some plays. But that's not good, man. And we're harping on it because the team's not doing very well. And he was a guy who, coming in, number 1 pick, first round pick, supposed to be a difference maker. And the only difference he's making is being a negative player on the defense and on the team, which the team doesn't need. It's bad for the team, and it's not good for him. So we'll find out more about it. And it's just par for the course of the Giants season.
Don't forget, because I did, and someone reminded me, this guy, Brandon, asked for number 56, an old friend of Mark Collins. He asked for it. Thankfully, LT said no. I mean, look at it now. I mean, how ridiculous does it look now?
Yeah, I know I've seen people say he's just trying to live up to the number without having it. He's just trying to do it. But no, I mean, I would like to ask you a question real quick, Mark. At what point does a rookie screwing up, like at what point do you kind of whoop someone's ass in the locker room?
The second they do something like that, it may happen once, but it will never happen twice. But that goes to the leadership in that locker room, which I don't know who's the leader. Yeah, they say the quarterback's the leader. They put that C on his chest. But leadership is something you earn. That everybody, all the players look to and say, you know what? I want to be like that guy. I want to follow that guy's lead. I don't know who in that locker room has that kind of leadership qualities. So, which tells me that he's done this before, early in the season, and now that tells me there's really no leadership in that locker room. Now, we can ask Jaxson Dart to be the leader because he's a quarterback. He has qualities. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the rah-rah, the good play. Great. But I haven't seen the whole totality of it. I know Russell Wilson's there. Jameis Winston's there. Got it. But at this point in their careers, and they're not playing much, they're just guys. Who's the real leader? So far from what I've seen, no one's there, and the problem is still there. He's still doing the same stuff.
So would have happened by now, right?
Yeah,
it
would have been put out. By
okay,
now,
I was going to say I never played at a high level. I played, like high school football in New York City, which sucks in itself. We'd whoop someone's ass.
It's the same. But Brandon, it goes the same no matter where you played. Somebody in that locker room, even when you played, somebody in that locker room is going to stand up and grab that guy. And look, dude, we don't do that here. You take that back to Penn State.
Yep.
We don't do that here. Somebody in that locker room's got to do it because the coach can only do so much, really, no matter who it is, whether it's Parcells, Tom Coughlin, Vrabel, they have the ultimate say-so, but underneath them, there's what we call the star chamber. There's 5 guys who a coach is going to lean on to squash all the stupid stuff that goes on in the team. I don't think the Giants have that right now.
When we saw Abdul Carter in the jacket on the bench for, I guess, really the entire first quarter, I don't think he went in until the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading some quotes from post-game stuff where he said he let his team down, used some profanity, but said he let his team down. Mike, honestly, Brandon, all I thought about was Brian Daboll and how we are picturing his regime now and how bad it looks and how every day just seems to get worse.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with Brian Daboll is just, and I said this, like he's not a head coach, right? He didn't have that leadership X factor that you need to be the head coach. Still a hell of an offensive mind, right? I don't think that. I know he's in contention for a bunch of college jobs right now. I don't know if that's where he wants to go, but his name's floating around with a bunch of those, mostly as an offensive coordinator, and it makes sense. That's what he is, and he's a damn good one. And I think we're approaching a time where there's a lot more coaches who are going, I'm cool not being a head coach. I could just go out there and be an offensive coordinator, and that's a good job for me. Same with defensive. But also with Brian Daboll, like one of the concerns when he got hired, at least from my side, was what kind of staff are you going to build? How are you going to be able to build that staff? And I think that the guys that are here now, some of them are very good at their jobs. Some of them probably not so much. We spoke about how one of the issues was every year it felt like they just kind of went, okay, Kafka, you call plays this time. And then next year I'm going to call plays. And then next year you call plays. It was you cycling between 2 guys calling the same offense, just changing who's doing it every year. And that alone was a giant red flag of failure coming up. And now we're just seeing more of it. I refuse to believe that this is a first time that this has happened or a second time this has happened with Abdul Carter. I would imagine that, like, I highly doubt he was like, oh, the disciplinarian Brian Daboll is gone. Now I'm going to start acting up. Like, I would imagine that this was something he's been doing and been getting away with, especially star players in college. They get to do a whole bunch of stuff that other people don't get to do. And then you come out and you're a high draft pick and they know that they've invested heavily in you and that they got to keep you. And you do have some kind of leverage as a player that they've invested significantly in. I do wish someone would kind of just, or not that I wish someone whooped his ass, but if that was a locker room that I was ever in, someone's getting their ass whooped, I'll say that. This is just, this has been a coaching failure. And Abdul Carter, someone that, again, like you have to have someone that can actually enforce something, whether that's a player, whether that's a coach. Someone needs to enforce something. But right now, you look like a clown show. You got this top 5 draft pick on the edge that is sitting out now a quarter. Is next time going to be a game?
No.
What are we going to do? Are we going to do half? We'll do 3 drives next time. Like, I don't know what the process is here. But whatever you're doing clearly isn't working. And there needs to be something harsher, because he sat out a drive and didn't care, right? Because he sat out a quarter
Yeah.
this time. So clearly this whole like, oh, hey, by the way, we're still going to pay you millions of dollars every year, but you're going to get a rest, basically. Like he's getting his money. That's it. He's getting his money. He's not going to get another contract for a few years. So the incentive is really down the line for him to whoop ass. So right now it's just, we're just mad at you. And that's the punishment. And I understand letting down your teammates. I don't think he cares about that right now.
Yeah.
I really don't.
The next stop, guys, if he continues to do this, is conduct detrimental, which means he's becoming a cancer to the team, and they'll suspend his ass without pay. So whenever he gets suspended with conduct detrimental, which could happen with the last 4 games of the season, right? The Giants aren't going anywhere. And for them to teach him a lesson to not to one thing teams don't want happen on the organization is a player to continue to get away with missing meetings, talking about coaches, the organization. Once they slap that tag conduct detrimental on you, that stops it. That stops that action. They'll send them home. And with 4 weeks left, the Giants aren't going anywhere. They slap that on him. That teaches him a lesson. He doesn't get paid. That's without pay. That's the ultimate, what's the word I'm looking for? The nuclear option for any team to pull. So if that happens, which it could, if he continues this kind of stuff. And I was thinking that when Kafka said at halftime, when the lady asked him a question, and he said, coach's decision, that tells me there's a lot more going on. So don't be surprised if that kind of detrimental comes into play if this continues.
And by the way, just some stats to back that up. They allowed 30-plus points in the first half for the first time since 2009. Pat scored on 5 of their first 6 possessions in the first half. So that being said, they need him, Brandon. They could use him. The defense is so bad, and they also have somebody who doesn't feel like being there. It just doesn't compute.
Yeah. But look, I think it's a very easy approach to just say, if someone doesn't want to be there and someone doesn't want to work hard, you can't make them, right? It's sad to be at it. I'm not justifying anything. I'm not excusing anything. I'm just saying that if you have someone that doesn't want to put in the work, it's tough to make someone put in the work. And it sucks that, you got this team where he's like when he's on the field, he's so good. He really is. And I think that makes it more frustrating. And I do wish that you'd see someone like a Brian Burns, or like a Dexter Lawrence kind of just go, hey, like, stop being an idiot. You're really good. You can have a really bright, long career here. But if you're going to be a jackass, it's not going to last. If you're going to be a jackass, no one's going to want you. You're going to be toxic. It doesn't matter how good you are. We see it all the time. Talented football players don't get the shots that they feel they deserve or that their talent warrants because their personality doesn't. And it sucks because, this team, not great. But I do think that looking at an Abdul Carter and seeing that talent and going, damn, I wish you tried harder. Like it should piss off every player in that locker room. I don't like every player in that locker room should be fuming right now that you got a dude that this team invested a lot in. And I'm not usually one to, go, yeah, billionaires, franchises, all your support. But like as a teammate, I'd be really pissed about that because it's like, hey, this team's invested in you. They're giving you everything that they could, right? They gave you your fully guaranteed contract. They drafted you nice and early. They did all that. You're getting away with things that you have been getting away with things you probably shouldn't have been able to get away with. And that does fall a lot on coaching that they let it get that far. But as a teammate, I'd be really pissed at you. Like that's some stuff where I know one thing's for sure. I'm going to go out there and whether or not I'm good or bad, I'm going to work my ass off to give you what I can. and you're immensely talented, significantly more talented than most of the people on the roster already at your young age of what, 22, 21, something like that.
Yeah.
And you just don't care, I'd be fuming. I would be pissed.
Brandon, I agree, but it's very hard when the rest of them suck.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's very hard. I mean, when I played, we had a guy got drafted in the first round, Eric Dorsey. Great athlete, but wasn't that dominant force I think that the Giants expected. Our draft class in '86, it's me, Pepper Johnson, Eric Howard. We were second round picks. We outplayed that first rounder. We put in the time. We put in the work. And a lot of the players who were there, the older players, remember, we're rookies. All the older players are looking at this number one pick, and they're going, this dude ain't putting in the work. They got on him. But that didn't slow us down. And they could say that because the rest of us were damn good. we were bringing it. So it's very hard for the team on defense to say that when none of them are bringing it. You know what I mean? It's hard to say, oh, I'll give you all this money, you're not doing nothing. Dude, you can't cover nobody. You can't tackle. You can't fill the gap. Yep. So then you got what you got. That's why they're so bad.
Not only does he look silly, but now everyone's killing Kafka, rightfully so, for answering the question, well, what does this mean? And all he would say is coach's decision. Kafka looks silly and stupid for defending his own guy. That's just how much of a problem something like that is.
Well, Jay, he can't say anything. He can't. He's on national TV. He's got a 4 or 5 second window to answer a question. He's got a flipping game. His team is getting his ass kicked. He can't explain, well, he missed meetings. He didn't, but the Giant fans don't hear that stuff. They don't. They're going, that dude ain't on the field. We'll find out why later, but go try to win this game. So Kafka, now, being a communications major, going from the Cal State Fullerton University, you know, the lady's doing her job. She's asking a question. So Kafka's got to say, basically, either no comment, I got a game to win, or I got to get back to my job, whatever it is. So, you know, he was in a tough spot. He handled it the best way he could. But I tell you this, guys, we're going to find out either tonight or tomorrow or the next day what happened. It's all going to come out because when he's on the podium when the media asks him questions, it's going to come out. And we're going to find out what it was.
All right, we have one more break, a real quick break, a 10-second break. Then we'll come back and, as we do every week, try and find a Giant victory. All right, here we go. Final block of the show. 4 more games remain. Now, the bye is next week, so the Giants cannot lose next week.
Woohoo!
All right. Believe it or not, 3 of the final 4 games are home. We have Washington and Minnesota at home, then the Raiders in Vegas, and then the Cowboys at home, who will most likely need that game. So that could very well be ugly. But again, trying to find a win here. Washington impressed us last night, despite the fact that they lost. Yeah. Minnesota, who knows about J.J. McCarthy? Vegas, I guess, I mean, that seems to be the common denominator when we try and find a Giant win, Mark. It's that Vegas game.
I'm still thinking the Giants can beat the Raiders. The score may be 3-0, but the Giants can win that game.
Hold on. You think they're actually going to kick the ball this time, not just kick
yeah, right.
They just what the hell? Oh my gosh, Phil McConkey. We're texting during the game, so he got his foot stuck in the turf, and Phil goes, what was that? And I said, I've never seen that in my football career. I've heard stories about. You remember the Landetta, the ball blew in Chicago. Yeah. Okay, that happens. I've never seen a kicker stick his foot in the turf. That was wild. But anyway, I digress. I still think that a win may come against Vegas because Vegas is garbage. If the Giants are trash, Vegas is garbage. So maybe 10-3, but I don't know.
I mean, then that's a 3-win season, Brandon. I mean, it's just like, not that I expected anything more, but I mean, it's a freaking 3-win season.
Well, I'll tell you something. I expected more than 3 wins. I'll say it. I didn't expect this team to be very good, but I expected more than 3 wins. This sucks. Just going to be completely honest with you. And yeah, there's the Raiders. The Raiders game has been one that we've had circled since we saw this team trot out to start the year, and we were like, "Oh, they're going to be really bad." Like once they came out for the regular season, we saw them and went, "Oh, this is going to suck. Like this is going to be brutal." Again, and that's what it is, right? Raiders game is always one that this team should have a good chance against. Mm-hmm. I think depending on who the Vikings quarterback is that week. Maybe that game, because their quarterback play has been absolutely abysmal, even with J.J. McCarthy out there. But I think that the biggest win that the New York Giants are going to have for the remainder of the season is that there's about 32 days left of New York Giants football.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest win, is that it's almost over. Like, Giants fans, you have gotten your asses. If you've ever watched it, I don't know if anybody here is a UFC fan or if anybody watching is a UFC fan. If you've ever watched Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler 2, when they're both just all busted up and that's like, you're on the receiving end of both of those fights if you are a New York Giants fan this year. I mean, it's just been brutal. And luckily it's almost over. I hate to sound like I'm being like a homer or overly optimistic. I really do think that every game, they're not going to win every game. Every game except the Cowboys one is winnable. You know, Commanders, if they've still got Marcus Mariota, that could go either way. He can go left real quick in any given week. Vikings, depending on who their quarterback. Like I'm not saying that this team can win these games because they're good. I'm saying this team can win these games because the other teams are having really bad stretches right now. Will they win those? I think they win one. I think there are 3 that I look at as winnable. I think they win one, and I still look at the Raiders as the most likely one. But I like if they beat the Commanders or the Vikings, I wouldn't be stunned. But I do think that Raiders one is the one that I look at and I go, they should win that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing that Dallas game, Mark, and I'm thinking there are more Cowboy fans in the building that day than Giants fans, and that absolutely makes me sick.
Oh, yeah. You know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. Dallas is rolling right now. You know, those Fairweather fans haven't done this since, 97, whatever it was. Yeah, they're Fairweather. They'll be there. They'll be at MetLife in full force, and especially if the Cowboys need that game.
Yeah.
They're going to be there.
They might flex that game. You know, I mean, Cowboys are a huge audience. Right now, I don't think we have a starting time for that game, but it obviously depends. Hey, with the way the Eagles are playing, the Cowboys are not dead by any stretch. That division is the division is very much up for grabs at the top, don't you think?
Yeah, can we flex that game to like 1 a.m., please?
Just flex out of it completely.
Yeah, just give them the win at that point. Yeah. It's fine. We don't need to watch it. Yeah, I'm good on that one. That's gonna be. They scored 40 last time. The Giants scored 37. I could see the Cowboys scoring 40 again. Not going to say the same for the Giants offense. No. I can see the Cowboys scoring 40 again, especially if this defense continues to just be awful. Like there's no other way to put it. They're just really bad. I will say that Charlie Bullen in his first game as a defensive play caller, some creative blitzes, some creative rushes going there, more safety blitzes, more nickel blitzes. That was interesting to see, fun to see. I do think that we're at a time where a lot of defensive coordinators have really started to lean into the whole as teams have started to prioritize interior pass rushing, and they've gone, the quickest way from point A to point B is a straight line, so we're going to go right ahead of the center. A lot of teams have started more inside linebacker blitzing, and I think some teams have gotten too reliant on it, where now offenses are just like, all right, running back, you're just seeking and destroying over the middle of the offensive line. If someone comes through, help out. And so I do appreciate seeing more safety rushes, more nickel rushes. And Charlie Bullen's someone that I think he's going to prioritize generating a consistent pass rush plan as an outside linebackers guy. That's usually what they try to do. And I'm interested to see just how he changes as he gets more experience there. This is his first time calling the defense for him. And I'll be interested to know if next week he comes back and he's like, all right, we were too conservative, or we weren't, or we were too aggressive in either direction, and just see those adjustments that are made. And I know most of these guys aren't coming back. I'm still going to try to look and see how they're improving over this final month, where especially you're going to see who cares and who's going to try hard no matter what, and who's going to go, all right, we got 2 wins. There's a month left. Season. Even if we go run the table, we're not doing a damn thing other than getting the 8th pick in the draft instead of the 2nd or 3rd. So I'll be interested to see, because I do think it's also important to acknowledge a lot of these guys, like Mark, you mentioned, a lot of these guys aren't going to be here next year with all the roster turnover we're expecting. There's still going to be a decent bunch of these guys that are here and are on multi-year contracts still. Those guys, there's going to be decisions made about them, about whether or not they're coming back. And every next head coach, whoever that's going to be, is going to go, I saw how that guy folded when things got tough. I'm not going to be interested in having him on my team.
Interesting that the bye happens right now, Mark, very late, which I'm sure is annoying. Wouldn't you rather have it sort of towards the middle of the season?
Well, if you're winning, this is perfect for you. It really is, because now you like the Patriots.
Yeah,
they got to win. They're sitting pretty. They can rest their players. They could go through their playbooks, offense, defense, and peel out stuff that works and add things that work. They can do all kinds of stuff to get ready for that stretch. If you're losing like the Giants, I would think, never been in a situation before, maybe once in the strike year in '87, but you're ready to check out. You're going, man, we got 4 more weeks. You got all that free time. What are you going to do? You're practicing during the bye week now. You're practicing for your job. You're practicing for your next game, which is in 10, 11, 12 games. And what? You got all this free time. What are you thinking about? Watching everybody else play for the playoffs? And you calling people, ready, trying to set your Cancun trip up, your golf trip up for the offseason. So it sucks for the Giants.
Can I just add real quick? We got a quote from Jaxson Dart after the game, and he said, "This is football. I'm gonna get hit. We're not playing soccer. I play this game aggressive. I'm not going to change." So we don't have to ask the question anymore. we don't have to ask the question anymore.
It also means that to me, it means the staff hasn't said anything to him at any point. Nobody said a word to him.
His parents should talk to him. His parents should say something.
Yeah, seems like nobody cares what the staff is telling them about this. I feel like a lot of the players are kind of just like, get the hell out of my face. You're not going to be here next year. I don't care. I feel like that's kind of the approach that you're getting. I will say also, these past couple weeks, I know people want to like throw his name into the coaching pool all the time. I'm good on Mike Kafka. I'm good. Similar to Brian Dable, you might be a good offensive guy, but I don't think that they respect you right now. And I don't think just because the organization goes, we're going to remove the interim tag, means that they're going to start respecting you. Got to get someone that is going to force you to respect them. And that, first off, that's a bad look. That like pouting, like the way he's like, his body language in the video is not great either. But that is what it is. He said he's not going to change his style. That's good for you, right? Like you get to do that. But we'll see how long that really lasts before, because someone's going to pop you and they're going to keep popping you until you give up or you change your ways. I suggest you watch Kyler Murray film. He's not very great, but he's really good at avoiding to get hit. Maybe try that one. And he still uses his legs effectively. Like I don't get that. I don't get going, well, this is how I play and I'm going to keep playing that way. You can use your legs and be aggressive without getting popped on the sideline. Like, because he wasn't making a move. He was just running straight, going toward the sideline and got a hit. Yeah. That's not anything about changing your style other than move with more intent to the sideline. That's all that is. You weren't like, you didn't put your if you put your shoulder down into someone and you got popped and you're like, I'm aggressive, that's how I'm gonna go. So be it. Like, if you want to be that dog, you be that dog. But you got popped just running out of bounds.
He took it for granted. He took it for granted. He thought the defensive guy was going to slow up.
Yeah, and that's what he thought. Like, I'm not asking you to play like a pansy. I'm just saying situations like that shouldn't. Again, if you're going to put your shoulder down and you want to be that guy that's going to put your shoulder down, that's on you. That's a decision you made. But I feel like a lot of the times he's getting hit is not even him trying to make a move or trying to put his shoulder down. He's kind of just like, I'm going to run straight until someone makes me stop running straight. That bit of an issue with, because that's not even productive. That's not creating yards after contact. That's not doing anything. Again, I prefer my QB didn't create yards after contact. But if you want to be the aggressive dog, then go be that. But he's not. He just runs until someone lights him up.
All right. We have plenty to discuss over the next 2 weeks. We will have a show on Thursday. Me, Mark, and Patricia will be with you as we preview the bye week. And we look back, we look forward, we'll do it all. Again, the Giants are now 2-11 for a second consecutive season after a 33-15 loss tonight. For Mark and Brandon, I am Jay. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you on Thursday.